Welcome, my name is Ardil and today's video is all about this MAN TGE. As you've probably seen already, this install today is all about fixing. We have some incredible gear inside the vehicle. This install has been done by another company in the UK and the client is incredibly upset and not happy with the final result of the sound. However, he's unaware of what is actually being done behind the scenes. This is because there's been no documentation given to the client. You know, as the Cambridge Cardio way, we document everything as much as we can, give it to the client so they have as much detail as possible. No documentation, all we have is an invoice and an unhappy customer and a car that doesn't sound like the equipment is actually even installed into it. But today we're going to be going through all of that, showcasing it with you, taking you on a really cool journey and taking this car to the Cambridge Cardio way. Let's jump into today's video.
Hi guys, I'm Will and today we've got quite an interesting project in. Here we've got this MAN TGE, which the client has already had a custom sound system installed from somewhere else and they're not happy with the quality of the installation. So they brought it to us to go through the entire vehicle and basically redo it all and identify any problems. So first we're going to hand it over to Luke to show you what the previous place has done on the tuning side on the system while I come up with a plan for the installation and inspect the vehicle for any faults. So yeah, off to Luke.
Hi guys, my name's Luke and today we've got this MAN TGE in. Now it's already been to another company for an audio install and I think it's been back twice or 3 times potentially. The customer's just not happy with it, so we're going to go in there, take a look. Firstly, we're going to look at tuning and then we're also going to look at what the build process is behind, because we are obviously unsure what it is like and we need to know, because the customer's then going to decide whether we go further rather than just a bit of tuning. So let's get inside and have a look. Right, so we're in the van now. The amps have been, it's the 5-channel Forza from Audison. That's been located just underneath this bench seat here, so it is easy access. Got the tuning cable, so we'll get it loaded up now. Judging by the tidiness underneath, I'm going to be intrigued of what we'll find behind the doors, because considering this is an easy access point where the customer can always go in there whenever he wants. It's not the neatest, it's just a bit, they've got things like RCAs, I'll show you on the DJI, but like things like the RCAs, rather than just like each and every one singly being wrapped up, just so 1, it can't be pulled apart. 2, looks neater. It's literally just they've all been stuffed together and then just 1 quick bit of tape around it. It's not awful, but also it's an area which the customer can see. So we're going to be seeing what it's like behind an area where the customer cannot see unless he's getting tools out. Right, so it's just loaded up now, so we'll just open up the file. Speaking of files, the customer, after the 2 times or 3 times he had been back, he basically in the end asked the company if he could have the tuning file. Now they turned around and said no, it's not a thing we can do. You can't save tuning files. Now in the Audison bit drive software, there is literally a nice big save icon in the top, and that is literally saving a file, just like you would do a Word document or whatever. I'll highlight it now it's loaded up. Yeah, so it can be done, it can be sent over. This is another one of them things which Ardil talks about quite a lot, where it's communication with the customer. There's like, obviously we don't know how many chats or pictures or whatever has been gone between the company, the original company, and the customer, but with us, we are constantly, we're pretty much bombarding customers with whether it's ideas on locations for DRC, subcontroller, positioning for custom A-pillars, subs in the boot. Like, it doesn't matter what car it is, what install it's having, the customer's kept up to date all the time. So back to the tuning. Now looking at it, it's all, I mean, it's been EQ'd. That's always a start. The crossover points are a bit questionable considering the tweeters which are up in the A pillar up here They're playing 5,000 and up. The woofers in the doors, now they're trying to play from 50 all the way up to 5K. Now I think, if Ardle told me correctly, this is the Audison Voce 2 set. So we'll have a look in there. Now I know the Voce 2s, they're going to struggle with that. They're going to struggle to try and create any nice sound traveling all the way up to up to the 5K mark. So when we get this apart, we'll have a look as well. The sub, there's been a lot of boosting on this. It's like there's like an overall dB of around 10.5. Now this is just going to be putting too much strain on something which isn't needed to be done. So yeah, we will investigate more. We'll get a door card off next, have a look, and then we'll start to come up with a plan with the customer on what we can do, whether he wants it as a quick fix or like a tune-in, retune, or whether, if this is a bit of a show, should we call it, then yeah, it might be effectively a reinstall or rework of the system which is inside here. So yeah, let's get out of the car, get a door card off and take a look.
Okay, so as you can see, we've got the this door fully stripped back. We've got the door card off. I've already spotted quite a few things wrong with this install. I'll start off with something that's quite good though, is that they've put this here, this 6mm foam over the gap on the middle skin of the door. From factory, this would have had like a really thin foam layer that's just to stop moisture getting in. Whereas this is thicker and it will stop a lot of sound coming through. One thing wrong with this though is that they didn't scrape off the factory foam on the edges where they stuck it down. So it wasn't actually stuck down very well, and it's not that sticky on the back to begin with. So we'll probably reuse this when we put it all back together, but we'll stick it down properly and we'll treat this better before we put it back on. Inside the door, they've obviously used 3mm sound deadening, which is fine. Some of the edges aren't that great, and in some places it's peeling up a bit and it's not really rolled down very well. So we'll give that a roll over, and we'll probably add some of our own in some of the areas they've missed, like down here and up there. They were apparently sold 27 sheets of the 3mm sound deadening. Here it looks like they've probably used maybe 5 or 6 in the door. So it'll be interesting to try and find where they've put the rest. And then moving on here to the speakers, obviously they've got these adapters. They look like just some universal sort of plastic adapters. They're not 3D printed or anything, so they're just bolted in with self-tappers. And the speaker as well is bolted in sideways here with self-tappers. And it's not a very secure way. They'll come loose over time. And also, upon taking it off, we realize obviously it's soldered to the speaker wire, but the speaker wire itself has no plug on it. So if you ever want to take the speaker out, you have to cut the wire and then resolder it. Also, when I took this off, it's obviously quite cold outside this time of year, and there's visible moisture on the actual back of the speaker. When we install speakers indoors, we usually put water guards on them, which is basically just a rubber guard that goes over the back, because inside the door there's a lot of moisture ingress from the windows going up and down. It's not a dry space, like all of this gets moisture on it. And over time, like this could seriously lead to the speaker failing early, getting wet like this. So this is something that we'll definitely fix. So overall, there's a fair few issues to address and to fix, but we can confirm that it's got the Voce 2 woofers in here. So that's a start. We know what we've got, we know what we're working with. So now I will show you the door card that we took off. So here we are at the door card here for the passenger side. As you can see, there is one tiny measly piece of sound deadening here. I guess they just put a little offcut on it. It's really not a good effort at all. You know, with the 27 sheets that were sold to the client, you would expect the whole outer skin of the door, the middle skin, and also the door card covered. But they've only done the outer skin and not even covered it fully. So not that impressed here, to be honest. Also, they haven't done anything to stop any rattles in the door card at all. Like, all they've done is that. The clips, we usually do a bit of cloth tape on the clips to prevent rattles, because they're quite a rattly, like the whole door card can rattle, especially when you've got some bass coming out of the mid bass in the door there. So that's something that will improve as well. We'll also put sound deadening over this whole door because this door card, I mean, this is really thin, flimsy plastic. So overall, not very impressed with the door cards. So we'll be fixing this by fully sound deadening the whole thing and the door. The next step now is to look at the driver's side and see what's going on there, if it's the same or if it's slightly different. Here we are now at the driver's side door. Very similar story here, to be honest. They've used a few little offcuts here. Doesn't look that nice, but I guess they are functional for this 3mm sound deadening here on the outer skin of the door. Coverage is decent. There's a few bits they've missed that we'll add some to. Another thing, they use the same foam over here on the middle. Obviously here they've left a lot more of the factory foam on the edges, so this was really not stuck down very well. So that's another thing that we'll have to fix. Again, on the speaker, same story, it's just self-tap it in. There's no plug on it, so it's not easily removable whatsoever. So we'll be making our own custom 3D printed adapters for these, and we will use the XC60 plugs, which make the speakers very easily removable, because this, you get stuck, like you actually have to snip the wire to get it off. It's really not very good. If they ever wanted to go back to stock or upgrade something or had to change the speaker for whatever reason, it would not be easy, and it's just not a nice way of doing it. So yeah, similar story here on the driver's side door. Now the next step for us is to get the A-pillars off and see what we're working with there with tweeters. Okay, so as you can see, the A-pillars are off now. This tweeter isn't the prettiest install that I've ever seen. It's been glued in to the actual A-pillar itself with a lot of glue, like literally all around the whole thing. And then, like, I don't think it's ever going to come off of this A-pillar again, not very easily anyway, the way they've stuck it in. So if the customer ever wanted to go back to stock or anything like that, or change them out or upgrade them, it's going to be difficult. They've put these strips of sound deadening over the back of it in this X shape. It's not really necessary. It doesn't really add anything. It just sort of makes it look weird, to be honest. Yeah, they're not even stuck down well themselves either. And then wiring wise, they just use these bullet connectors onto their speaker wires here, as you can see. They're very loosely taped together. Sort of crimped together. It's not the best connection. You know, we use XT60 connectors for a solid connection whenever we plug speakers in like this, because I mean, this whole wire was just loose and rattling in the A-pillar as well. Like, this could come loose over time. It's just not the best way to do it. So overall, we'll put our own speaker wire in, some better high quality wire, and we'll put our own connectors on the end of this. It's not really much of a surprise considering the quality of the other stuff we've seen so far. So yeah, the next step now is probably to start doing a bit of sound deadening on the doors, run some wires down. The amp is in here, so I'll talk about the amp in a minute as well, and show you what's going on with that, and the subwoofer as well, as you can see by my feet there. So yeah, we'll get onto that now. So here we are as well at the amplifier. It's just under this seat here, down here. It looks like it's just been chucked in really quick. It's just sort of stuck down with Velcro. All the wires are just in a ball next to it. They're not really neatly ran or tucked away or tied up nicely. There's no organization. A funny thing about this as well is that there's two different inputs that they've got going into the amp. There's a funny story behind all of that, but they've got an optical input and also RCA low-level input as well. The reason why apparently is because when they had this whole system installed, they got it installed with a Sony head unit, which had RCA output. And then when the customer then complained that it didn't sound very good, they then went back and upsold them to this head unit, which has optical, saying that that will solve all of their problems, when really that wasn't the problem to begin with. Apparently when they slung this head unit in, ran the optical wire, it's just shoved down here. It's not tied in whatsoever, like they just shoved it in. And apparently they tuned it in a matter of minutes, or tuned it, and it just sounded even worse. So sometimes, even if you have the highest level equipment, highest level, you could run the optical, which is the highest quality input you can get. But without the right setup and the right tuning and the right quality of install, it just all doesn't matter. What's the most important is the care you take to install this stuff properly. So we're gonna have to redo it all. That's all gonna change, and it will sound a lot better at the end.
So I'm about to soundproof this door card. Just before we start soundproofing, I gave it a nice wipe down. I took off, you know, the little stickers because it creates like air bubbles under the soundproofing. So yeah, what we'll do also is once we've soundproofed this, we'll do our clips. We just put a little bit of tape under them just to avoid any rattling coming from these clips. So we'll do full coverage. Reason being is it just enhances the sound a bit better and just avoids any rattles coming through the plastic and things like that. So yeah, I've already wiped down. I've already taken off my stickers. So I will start laying down my sheets.
Okay, so now as you can see, we've fully stripped the car down. We've got most of the dash apart as well. I got busy, I've ripped all of the previous wiring out, all the power wires, all the inputs, all the outputs, completely back to a bare starting point for the install. And now I've ran all of our wires. So we've followed all the factory looms here on the floor for the inputs and the outputs. On all the speakers here, we've got these XT60 connectors, so we can actually unplug the speakers now, which is a massive improvement from before. The power wires as well, we've gone for a much neater way than they did it. They just sort of slung it in there. Under this panel, we've gone into like a little factory fuse holder thing. It's very cool. All these wires here are now going to go to where the amp is going to be mounted under the seat. So they're all ready to go now. So the next step is to start putting panels back in the car and then get testing. And then from there, we'll get mounting the sub. Okay, so now we've got the vehicle fully back together. The client has opted to put the subwoofer in the same location as it was when it arrived. However, we have put a little plug on the bottom of the seat to allow it to be removed a lot easier, because the previous one we actually had to unscrew it from the back of the sub, which wasn't ideal for ease of use for the customer. Also for the sub, all the panels around it and below it and the floor underneath it, we've sound deadened as much as we can to try and prevent all of those rattles and vibrations through the vehicle caused by the sub. And then for the amplifier, we put it under this passenger seat in a similar location to where it was before. However, this time we've actually mounted it solidly to the floor of the vehicle rather than just Velcro to the floor like it was before. And we've made the wires a lot neater. So yeah, that's all back together now. So the next step now is to tune the vehicle and get all the crossovers set and the EQs set. So we're tuning now. We've already done our measurements in REW and decided on where we want our crossovers to be, where the speakers are happy playing, and also EQ'd them individually as well in REW and brought that over to BitDrive. In BitDrive now we have our crossovers set and our individual speaker EQs set. So they're now going to play happily to the curve that we want them to play to. So the next step now is to go into each speaker and set the levels. So we basically sit here listening to all sorts of different songs and come up with what we determine as a balanced sound for the basic memory setting. After that, we also are going to make different memory settings for the customer. For this one, for example, we have gone with the basic balanced mode, and then we've gone for one that has more bass, and then the customer also wanted one that has just maximum bass. And then there's another one we've gone, which is just basically just very flat, because sometimes they like to listen to audiobooks and stuff. So very flat for that one. The customer can switch between all of these with the DRC that we've installed as well, because it didn't previously have the DRC. So now that's a lot easier for the customer to customize it how they like without bringing it back to us every time they want a different sound. So it's a lot easier for the customer to use. Yeah, it sounds really a lot better than it did before. It just goes to show that it's not just about the hardware you've got, it's about how you install it, and tuning is also a massive part of this as well. So now, yeah, it sounds great. I'm going to hand it over to Ardil.
And that is the install all wrapped up. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video so far. We've still got plenty more to show you, because we're going to be listening to the final result of the system with you a little bit later on. But, I mean, you've seen in today's video a whole host of issues. You've seen a whole host of poor installation work. This, unfortunately, is becoming more and more common. The reason why, and we never used to, we used to come across it, but we never used to kind of make content around it. But we need to educate clients, because, and potential future clients, as well as the companies that are actually doing this work. Because at the end of the day, clients want information. They want to be able to see the work that's been carried out. This is always such a red flag. And pretty much, I'd probably say 95% of the time, maybe more, whenever we're having a conversation with clients that are unhappy with work that has happened on their vehicle, the first question I ask is have you got any documentation of what's actually been done? And like this client, unfortunately, didn't get any, and like many others, they don't get any pictures of the work, they don't get any videos of the work, they don't get any updates really from the installers, and the installers, whoever it is, whichever company it is, are doing this work incredibly fast, in and out that workshop, mostly because they have limited space normally, and also just how they operate their business. The firm that did this know who they are. We don't need to name names. It's not about naming names of the companies so people avoid them or anything like that. It's not about that at all. This is about, for a client, for you as a viewer, as you're watching, if you're potentially looking at having a sound system installed anywhere, wherever in the world, do a couple of things for us. Whether you're coming here, you're going to get this anyway, but if you're not coming here, make sure you are getting documentation of the work. You want pictures, you want videos, you want updates, you want to be able to see the work being done behind the scenes. Like for me, for example, if a client randomly rocks up halfway through the install, no problem. Like, you don't even need to give me notice. Like, you just turn up and I can show you the work we're doing. There's nothing to hide. It's just transparent. Like in my showroom, there's glass, there's windows everywhere. You can see into the workshop. You can see the work. There's nothing to hide. And this is where cars disappear around the back and have their work done and come out. And it's just, there's no awareness of what's been done for a client. And this is where majority of the problems lie. There's no ownership from the installer. So obviously like for us, we've got a big team here. It's not just one or two installers. We've got a big team. So obviously with that, we need to obviously keep on top of quality. The way we do that is by creating the content, posting it into our internal group chats to be able to document these things, the process properly. So the client at the end of the day gets the right experience, gets the right level of work and craftsmanship behind the scenes. Installs that were originally done, like on this vehicle, were just in and out. Tuning was as quick as could humanly possibly be. Everything was just done as a afterthought, and kind of mis-selling on things like the sound deadening work, things like the client, I'm not sure if Will touched on this, but obviously we've got the Sony unit here, telling the client that they needed to upgrade the unit past this to a Kenwood unit. It's all, the Kenwood unit's phenomenal, but like that wasn't the problem. Like selling a client another £1,000 unit because you've got 500 boxes of the damn thing sat in your warehouse doesn't fix the client's problems. The client's issues were the gear that he had here was literally not tailored towards what he was after. It was just box shifting to get whatever they have off the shelf. And then also on top of that is they're not actually doing what the invoice said. So you saw what happened in the doors, where obviously like the client had paid for a certain amount of sound deadening, 27 sheets, and just not had that installed. These sorts of things are just fundamentals. The reason why we started creating these bits of content is because of the fact that we need to make clients aware that you need to be really, really, really choosing your installer properly. It's very, very important, because issues like this clients had to pay double. He's had to pay twice. It's not a nice thing for us to bill out a client for work like this. Obviously, we have to do what we have to do, but the only way to have done this was to strip it down and redo it, because there was so many issues that we were finding throughout the entire thing, as you've seen in today's video. So it's really important that your installer is selected carefully. But I mean, overall, the whole video, the whole process of today was is about going through everything in a lot more detail, showcasing to you guys what was obviously done and what is thought to be an acceptable level to send out the door and hand over to a client after spending what he did.
So now we're inside the van, we're going to have a quick listen, me and you together for the first time, see how this all performs. Let's have a listen.
Yo no quiero nada, yo no quiero estar
So the difference is, as you can hear, absolutely insane from how it came in. It sounds incredible now, and I'm sure this client will be over the moon with the results we've managed to get. So if you're interested in having like a similar system done on your vehicle, please just get in contact with myself or my team. I'll be happy to help you out and achieve a result like this. But I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you have, feel free to subscribe to see more content like this in the future. And if you've enjoyed this particular build, feel free to like the video as well. But I will see you in the next one. Have a good day.